Why do we end up in the places that we do? For the hunter, it's definitely not because it was the path of least resistance, because there are often plenty of obstacles to navigate along the way. Certainly, the deer and elk that call these landscapes home are a noble attraction in their own right, but there is more to it than that. Some might call it adventure, but I think it's deeper than that. Many places out west are just so breathtaking to see with your own eyes that they stir up emotions within us that nothing else can rival. And it is our great privilege to live in a country where the most amazing places are open to the public, out there just waiting for us, calling us closer, begging to be climbed, an endless sea of opportunity, ready to test your will and calm your soul, a place we can get lost and ultimately find ourselves. It's barely 4:45. I have been up since 3:30, and it would appear I'm getting outworked right off the bat, as I have already been passed by 2 other vehicles on this old 2-track in the middle of nowhere. Not a feeling I enjoy. At this point, I just have to hope they don't have the exact same plan that I do, or my morning could be a complete waste of time, and I might as well have stayed perched on my cot when the alarm went off well over an hour ago.
Well, it's probably pretty obvious. Got here pretty late this morning. Kind of bummed out about it. I've been glassing for about 15 minutes so far, and I've hit kind of all the obvious spots here that I was expecting to see deer in, and I haven't seen anything yet. It's opening day here in Nevada, and it's not just opening day here on this hunt. This is my first day that I've got to hunt in 9 months, so definitely not the way I wanted my season to start by. Randy and I got here like a good hour and 15 minutes after we could have started glassing, and a lot of these mature bucks, they'll bed before the sun even comes up. So unfortunately for me, I feel like there's a pretty good chance that if there was any mature bucks in this pocket, that they were probably bedded before Randy and I even got here. But I'm just gonna stick after it here for another few hours at least and just hope I get lucky, and maybe I can spot one bedded, or maybe one will just kind of feed out from behind some bushes or something that we haven't seen yet. But definitely kind of bummed out getting here a little bit late. Well, it's official. Pretty disappointing opening morning. I was super bummed about getting here late, obviously, but we didn't get here late because we got up late. We got up at 3 this morning, drove the side-by-side up a crummy road to get up on the mountain, parked it, and then we had a hike that I figured would take us about a half an hour that ended up taking us over 45 minutes. So everything took longer than I had anticipated. There was a lot of logistics in getting to right here, and I wanted to be right here at glassing light. And the thing that really kind of stings is that I've actually been in Nevada for a few days already. My uncle and I showed up a few days early just to scout around, and we scouted hard. We were up early, covered a lot of country, and this being the fruit of it is pretty disappointing. I have hunted this area once before several years ago, but I only saw a couple mature bucks, so really just exploring a lot of new country, and which is exciting, but also a little bit intimidating. This is a huge area. We can literally hunt from this far mountains in the distance. If we could see to the east, we could hunt about as far that way too. It's an enormous amount of country we can hunt, which is cool. I love having room to roam, but at the same time, it's a little bit intimidating.
The Western Hunter is presented by Browning, the best there is. Benchmade knives, the most advanced hunting knives ever. Wilderness Athlete, fuel for the rugged. Option Archery, bringing target precision to hunting camp. Matthews Archery. crispy boots, and Western Hunter magazine.
Well, we ended up bailing out of that spot from this morning. We really didn't have much of a plan of what we were going to do this evening, and the best we could come up with was just try to get a spot with a huge view where we could see a lot of country, because that was a pretty tight little spot this morning that we were in, which is not normally the type of places that I seek out, especially early in a hunt when I'm just trying to gather information and evaluate deer densities and kind of what's in the area this year. We got there late, probably missed some deer, but we wanted a big view for this evening, so we came to this spot that I've actually hunted a few years ago. A massive view. I mean, it's like I could glass this all evening without ever taking a break, and I'd miss deer for sure. I mean, it's just beautiful deer country. There has to be mature bucks living in here, so hopefully this time we can lay eyes on one. Well, 4 bucks just popped out over there. None of them are shooters, but they're like medium-sized bucks, like 3 points, maybe a small 3x4, but just still hoping maybe a mature buck will pop out here before dark. But in any event, I am kind of encouraged. This is a pretty accessible spot. The side-by-side's not very far away. It's pretty easy for people to just drive up here, but nobody's showed up here this evening so far, so regardless if we see a shooter tonight, I feel like there's a pretty good chance we'll be back in this area tomorrow. Oh, another buck just popped out. He lifted his head up and looks like he's a 3-point, but as the sun's setting here, more and more deer keep popping out. I'm definitely glad that we decided to come back over to here this evening. We saw a lot of deer, nothing I'm interested in, but I know there's deer here we haven't seen yet. It's been a good opening day, but as much as I love the excitement and everything about opening day, I'm kind of relieved that it's over with now and we can kind of just settle in. I mean, you're never that ready and dialed in that first morning, you know. It's like, I feel like now that we got opening day out of the way, tomorrow hopefully I'll be able to just kind of settle in and do a little bit more effective job of glassing. But all in all, I feel like it was a pretty good day.
The Western Hunter is presented by Swarovski Optic. See the unseen. Browning Ammunition, Outdoorsman's Packs and Tripods, Base Map, Own the Outdoors, Phelps Game Calls, Get 'em Close, Chally, the world's finest optics mounting system, and Dark Timber Coffee Company.
Well, we didn't show up late this morning. I was pretty irritated with getting in late yesterday morning and kind of messing up the morning hunt, so we were super conservative in all of our estimates for how long it would take to get to here. It looks like we probably got here 15 minutes early, which is good. Just kind of relax, take our time, set up tripods. This is an awesome glassing spot, so I'm feeling pretty confident this morning. Well, I've had about 25 minutes of really good glass and light, and I have not seen a deer. Just a huge contrast from this area last night. I mean, it was just coming to life. It does appear, you know, afternoons are gonna be better, but that's not really ideal for me in this spot. I really want to see deer in the morning because the stalks are going to be huge. It's just going to take forever because the amount of country we have to cover, and we usually like to do stalks in the middle of the day when the thermals stabilize and we know the deer are going to stay bedded, and we try to slow down a little bit in this type of conditions because you can just suck down all your water like in no time. The evenings being like awesome don't do us a lot of good in this particular spot unless we got lucky and spotted something close, but really hoping we can try to spot something in the morning in this particular area for sure. A couple bucks just got up and started feeding across the canyon. I was pretty excited when I saw them in my binoculars because I could tell they both had like stout bodies. They're definitely mature deer, but Both of them are 3 points, so not shooters, but I'm just kind of picking apart the manzanita that they're feeding in, just hoping maybe I can spot another one bedded that hasn't got up yet. And a few bulls popped out down here in the bottom as well. It looks like there's about 4 or 5 bulls down there, but they stick out like sore thumbs over there. And I've glassed over that half a dozen times already this morning. Hopefully that means the deer are just now starting to get up to feed, so maybe they'll start kind of popping out in some of these other spots as well. Well, it's 8:30 and a few more bucks just stood up and started feeding pretty much at the head of this drainage here, and 2 of them are 4 points, but one of them is just a solid buck, you know, like just a stout body, fully mature deer, just, you know, average width, but just classic 4x4, beautiful shape to them. But they're feeding right now in some manzanita, and there's a big cliff right above them. This cliff is way too big for me to be able to get to the top of it and shoot off of. So if they bed right where they're feeding now, I don't think there's much we could do about it. But what I'm kind of hoping is that they feed off around the corner or one way or the other, and hopefully put themselves in a spot where they're a lot more approachable. But we'll just keep an eye on them and see where they end up. Well, it's been an hour. I've been watching those bucks. One of them lost his shade because the shadow moved a little bit, and he just got up and moved over. And if those bucks want to, they can just kind of keep rebedding throughout the day and have shade all day long. So I feel like there's a decent chance that they might stay there for the duration of the day. So Randy and I are going to pack up. It's going to be about a 3-mile stalk. We're going to loop right below that point there at the head, and then we'll drop in. It looks like there's a perfect place where Randy and I could sneak in there and be within bow range, but I actually was able to trace it out on base map. The resolution is good enough that I can actually see that little tree that the deer are bedded under. I drew a line from there to where I wanted to get to shoot. It said 71 yards, and I was thinking like 50. So, but it does look like there's another spot that we can wrap around the left side of the cliffs and get right above those bucks, maybe about 40 yards. So it's kind of high risk, high reward type deal, but if we can get there, we'll be well within my effective range. So we're gonna get packed up and head out.
This segment is presented by Benchmade Hunt, the most advanced hunting knives ever.
Well, we've only gone about a half mile, but at least we've got most of the elevation climbing out of the way. We just came up a pretty steep pole there. So we're just stopping to take a break in the shade here, and I'm just gonna set the tripod up and just make sure they're still there, because I don't want to go all the way around there if they've already moved off somewhere. So I've just had it happen to me too many times. Yep, still there. All right, well, we're gonna get after it. It looks like we've got some weather coming, which will be nice for hiking, but it might make the thermals a little unstable. So if there's gonna be any storms coming this afternoon, I'd like to get over there and hopefully get a shot on one of those bucks before that storm hits. Well, unfortunately, we spotted another buck we didn't know was there, and he is right directly in the path that we're going to be taking. We know we're going to spook the buck. It's just a matter of which way he runs. That's the way it goes. Have to hope for a little luck. See him pretty well now. He's just a big 2-point, so I can see him just to the left of this tree up here, so hopefully he goes that way. That's obviously exactly what we didn't want him to do. And not only did he go that way, he's like bounding and he was like snorting and blowing. Our only hope is that it's windy enough, the bucks we're after don't hear him crunching through the rocks over there, but I think our odds of a successful stalk just went down by about 75% probably. I was pretty nervous. I peeked over, all I saw was a bunch of empty beds. Fortunately, they just moved a little bit over to the left and they're feeding, and that big 2-point met up with them. I'm feeling like we're getting a second chance here. All right, so instead of just watching them from up here, I think we're just gonna start working our way down. Who knows, we might actually be able to work our way into position while they're feeding. I think we're gonna be able to get inside of 80 or 90 yards. We need to get closer than that, but it's worth a shot. That was a long shot. For some reason, I've never had trouble putting my pin on a big bull and just executing a good shot, but deer have got in my head in the worst way, and I know deer hunting like gave me target panic, which I got super bad, to the point where as soon as my pin touched fur, I just wanted to swat the trigger. I can honestly say that was the first time that I ever drew back on a buck I really wanted and executed an absolutely perfect shot. And man, it feels good. I just can't even, like, it would be embarrassing if people actually knew how much time I spent on archery. I've always felt like I was a better hunter than an archer. I'm like way below average archer, I feel like, and I have to work really, really, really hard. And man, it's awesome when you feel like you're finally getting where you want to be. It's a really, really good feeling.
I don't mean to make it sound like I don't generally make good kill shots on deer, because usually I do. But to me, there is a big difference between sending an arrow through a buck's vitals and executing a perfect release, just like at home on my practice targets. I have made a lot of kill shots over the years that resulted in quick, clean kills after I punched the trigger on my release, because I simply didn't have the mental discipline and patience to execute a surprise release, and that's what I'm referring to. A desire to release an arrow on the side of a mountain at a living, breathing animal the exact same way that I do on a foam or paper target in my pasture.
Well, he's just about what I thought he was, just a classic 4x4 gorgeous shape to his main beams, just a good solid 4-point, beautiful velvet. And I didn't actually see the impact, but it was just one of those that when that shot broke, I just felt it was just money, and it is. It's just right where my pin was, and it was a satisfying feeling, and it's also really satisfying to come down here to see the arrow entered exactly where I was aiming. He was only on his feet for about 20 yards. I mean, exactly what every bow hunter hopes for. One where you don't even have to do any blood trailing. Just a deadly, deadly broadhead arrow shot combination, and exactly what I was hoping for. I feel like we got crazy lucky today. We went on for this country, a pretty serious stalk, as far as length and elevation and everything. And it's been so hot, while I've been here the last few days kind of scouting around. And we actually, for the first time since I've been in Nevada, we've got some cloud cover today, which made it super nice. We had a breeze and cloud cover. We're gonna get the quarter in this buck and get all the meat into game bags. It'll be about all I can handle after today. It was a really fun day. Like, we just had stuff going on, so it was just a super rewarding, fun day, and I'm looking forward to packing out this buck under the stars.
The old saying, "Nothing worth having comes easy," is on my mind today as it has been for years. Only today, I feel like I'm on the other end of the saying, at least for this evening, and I will enjoy this feeling that's so fleeting in bow hunting. I know this may be a little confusing to some and makes perfect sense to others, but while the results of today may appear similar to many hunts from the past, it is not. It's not always about where you end up, but more importantly, it's how you got there that really matters.